Guys, we are back and revamped. We got some knowledge, we got some ideas. We're gonna make this happen one way or the other. So we changed a couple things and we should be able to have a little bit better pressure. I was out of town yesterday and Laz tried a couple things while I was gone and he says it seems to be looking a lot better. So we're gonna try a couple things out. We've changed a couple of things with the way that the fuel pump was down in there, and we also got a couple things that we want to try out to test and see if our return style is big enough or not. We're using our 5/16 factory rear, so it might be a problem, but we're going to test it and find out, and we're going to make some power today. Are you guys ready? Take 17 fuel pump fix, Uncle Sam. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff that we've kind of gone through. We've checked the return style, we've made it a deadhead, we've used the return style. Laz has had this fuel bucket out probably about 17 times. Right now we have the pump just suspended without the bottom of the bucket, just hanging there so that it is not a restriction as shoved in the bottom of the tank. This is just for testing at the moment. Right now we've got our voltage with our fuel pump control module. That says 5.3 volts at the moment, and trying to see what that does. So as we throttle, it should ramp up the voltage. So yeah, we've got our fuel pressure right there at 76 pounds. When we rev it, it still goes down. That went down to about 50 pounds there. So I threw a bunch more fuel pressure at it. We're gonna see what we got. We're checking the voltage as we go. Just got a list of things that we're gonna keep trying and seeing what happens, so.
All right, sitting at like 85, give it a rip. Good. It was at like 55.
I just made 646 horsepower.
Wow, you did? Oh. 646 horsepower. Wow, barely on a rip. Yeah, good torque too, 576. Well, brother, I'd say you got fuel pressure.
Oh yeah, we got good.
Yeah, your air fuel is actually really good. Look at that, guys. Air fuel is pretty clean. Coming up on that 12-to-1 mark.
Let's see what we got here. See what this is.
Let out it hit 12.
So what did you see on your side right there?
About 55 pounds.
Drop down to 55?
Yes, sir.
It's still a really big drop. And I mean, we got plenty
It
of
was
duty
shaking
cycle
around too.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was like fluttering a lot?
Oh yeah.
I got 43 here, 45. We are on full E. And dude, actually, so the boost rolls on about 174, so that's like 11.5 pounds, I think.
11.5 pounds. What was the fuel pressure?
It drops down to like 10. This right here went down to 43.
Yeah, but what was it mid-pull?
Mid-pull was still probably 44.
Okay.
I mean, there is a difference.
I thought it was in the mid-50s. It could have been mid-40s because I couldn't see the whole gauge, and it was a little scary. I didn't know you were doing a full rip.
Yeah, so stay there.
I thought you were just gonna like rev it, and all of a sudden the car is in gear. I'm like, oh.
10.7 down to 10.1. So this is like the low boost deal. But yeah, about 70% duty cycle. I'll be able to crank that up. Now, if we go the return style, though, what do you think? We're gonna try the return style. Well, I mean, because we should have the rising rate, you know, that's the thing, so.
It only takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, so we're going to try that, and we're learning as we go. We got a really good air fuel on her. So,
dude, that's awesome. First rip, good air fuel, 650 horse.
That's third gear, too, by the way. Third gear.
Oh,
so
baby.
Fourth gear was going to rip, you know, yeah, it
stood up.
RPM.
I mean, the nose of the car definitely stood up. It was making torque.
All right, so that's doable. That's doable. Woo! We can make that work.
Hell yeah.
Even though that's like still a weak fuel pressure. That's
the
not where we want to be.
Caprice is back, everybody. Brace yourselves.
Oh.
Well, guys, things are looking fantastic. We'll be back in a moment.
All right, so what we got here is we are changing back to our return style, which is a really quick, easy deal. We're just gonna hook that guy back up. We should be able to have our rising rate again. All right, so I have played around with the fuel pump control module a bit, and I'm gonna see what I can do with that. I have to check the settings of what I have in there right now because I know I've changed it a little bit. I was anticipating having a bunch more fuel. So I'm gonna go in and let's go take a look at some of the HP Tuner stuff in a moment here. Pretty much almost the same result whether we had the return style or not. That's kind of an eye-opener. I really actually expected a lot more fuel pressure to be there. With the return style being very, very small, we were testing whether, you know, what's the fuel pressure going to be, whether we have it on the return style or not. So that's kind of proving that we're totally okay right there with that style return. We're going to do now, we're going to take our return style and stick it in a bucket so that there's no restriction whatsoever, just to pretty much mimic the ideal zero restriction on that return right there. So let's see what we got coming up there, but we're doing really good. I mean, that's another 640 horse and 580 pound-feet of torque on a third gear pull. So in fourth gear, it should show a bit more power. And we're only making about 10 pounds, so we're really, really on the right track here. Okay, I've only revved at about 6,000 RPM. This thing should go probably 6,600. I think we are going to be able to make quite a bit more power still. Wait until we can do fourth gear, we'll be able to see the difference between third gear and fourth gear, and a little bit more RPMs as well. I didn't rev it as high, I just wanted to rev it pretty close and see where we're at. It actually did look like there was a little bit more fuel there, so let's check what's going on there. I'm going to show you the fuel pressure right there. So that right there is the fuel pressure, and we're commanding 72 even though we have the return style. We're commanding the pump to ramp up, and effectively what that's doing is we're ramping up the voltage on the pump. So I can control that a little bit, but as we go through, you can kind of watch how the fuel pressure right there was about 66 pounds. And as I go through the RPMs, it kind of drops a little bit. So there we go, 59, 52 right there. And by the end of the run, about 5,700 on this particular run, we are at 43 PSI. Now bear in mind, guys, we are on 100% E85 at the moment. That is going to be much more stress on the fuel system than just being on 93. So we're asking about 30 to 40% more out of our fuel system than what we would had it be 93. So do bear in mind that is a factor. So it has to move 30 to 40% more volume of fuel in order to get the same air-fuel ratio what our commanded is under full E85. So let's check out our intake air temperature right there. During the run, we're about 104 to 106 degrees. Not particularly good, but not bad either. So ambient air temperature right now is about 90, 91. We actually have some very, very weak bands of Hurricane Michael coming through, and we just got hit. It's super, super humid. It's not really hot, but it is very, very humid, and it is, it's a little warm. So we get 90 degrees there, 106 by the time it's in the blower. It is really effective, even though we have zero ice in the tank. Coming up, we will throw some ice in the tank and find out how much that helps. So that'll be an interesting thing for you guys to check out as well. If we can drop the temps somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30, 40 degrees, it does make a big difference in power, and I can't wait to show you that as well. Okay guys, let me give you an idea of what we got going on here. I am telling the fuel pump control module to ramp up a little bit more volume, and we also put our return style back on. So now that we can be sure that our return style isn't too small, and we are kind of working with the rising rate, even though it's not working totally the way that it should, and we can also verify that our fuel pump control module is doing what we're doing correctly, we are going to try and run it back to the way that we had it a couple runs ago. But now I'm ramping up the fuel pump control module just a little bit. I'm also throwing a little bit of spark advance at it. Gonna see what we can pick up there. I'll try and rev it a little bit higher as long as the air fuel is good. Maybe we might even see 660, 670 out of it. So we'll find out in just a minute. Let's take a look at what we got in there. There's like 5 mosquitoes inside the car. Something about the rain just made them all go crazy. So we're gonna see what we did with the fuel pressure here. I had an interesting hunch in the fact that I was ramping up the fuel pump control module and I was actually dropping pressure. Air fuel was leaner that run, so at least I know I can go back to where I was and I should be okay. Yeah, it looks like we averaged a little bit less fuel pressure throughout the curve, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put it back to the pull that we had there, and let's try and kind of do a final. So we're still ending at about 43 pounds, but earlier in the run we were at a you know, about 48 and all that. So okay, I'm going to go load this tune back in that I had there that should be pretty darn close. We're finally going to try a 4th gear pull. Hopefully we're going to see some big power. We're going to try and optimize this setup with about 10 pounds of boost is what we're seeing. If I rev it out to about 63, 6400, I got a feeling it's going to drop beneath 10 pounds. We're about 10.1 at the top of that pull right there. Ain't too shabby. All right, that is more like it. And I still didn't rev it all out totally. I was just kind of giving it a shakedown here. I'm going to throw a little bit more timing at it and see what happens, but 688 wheel horsepower and 598 pound-feet of torque. Yep, that's exactly what we're hoping for. And at the top right here, so we're only making about 10.3 pounds of boost at 6,050 RPM. So we are well on the way here. All right, we got 71% duty cycle. We got 1,000 cc injectors, averaging about 45, 44 pounds of fuel pressure. Certainly not ideal, but it is what we can make work. So really not bad at all. I mean, this is very, very much in line what we'd see with a CTSV. So this combination right now, this is so much better than what we had before. So this is what it was designed for. Brian Tooley Stage 3 camshaft for the win. I mean, much thanks for them hooking us up with all this stuff. This is a combination we've done many times over on CTSVs, and we know it's a winner. So we've done a normal build CTSV with our Stage 4 stuff, Stage 3, Stage 4. So pretty much like a full heads and cam package with a little bit more boost than this. In decent weather, we'll run a 980 at about 139 to 142, depending on weather. So we are very, very close to approaching what we should be able to do, and we're getting a little bit closer to neighbor on this thing here. We're gonna have to up the boost a little bit and throw a little bit more at them, but we are getting much closer, and this is exactly what we're hoping for. So I got to rev this guy out a little bit farther. We should be able to hit the 700s without a problem. 700 horse, 10 pounds of boost. That's pretty efficient, man. That's not too bad. Oh yeah, right there, 6,500. 6,500 RPM, 700 wheel. And our torque had a little bit of a spike there, but it did make a legitimate 613 pound-feet of torque. That is pretty awesome off of a smaller motor through an automatic. Only about 10 pounds of boost. That is getting it. 12.4 air fuel. You can run it that lean on E85, no problem. 12.4 out the back. I was, whew, feels good. Feels real good. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good place to stop right there. All right, so how would you guys like to see what it does on another about 2.5 pounds of boost? I can't wait. Glad you asked. Okay, so guys, here's what we're going to do. This is the easy part. You know, one of my favorite cliches. It's that low-hanging fruit. All right, so down there we got our factory CTSV balancer. That was part of our build right there. And up here we've got what came in our piece of junk blower. And again, bear in mind, this is the blower that had a screw go through it and it looked like cottage cheese inside there. This is our 2.55 Lingenfelter pulley. We can pull off this whole blower, pop that pin out, and press on our 231 pulley and hopefully gain about another 2 pounds of boost, and we'll see what he gains then. very good goal realized, man. I am so glad we finally got this. It's like I could finally sleep a little easier. I'm just like, oh, it's like a load off my shoulders, man. I can't tell you. So thank you guys so much for giving us the support and kind of like all the ideas and the comments. Those all kind of helped a little bit. You know, there's a lot of things that we had definitely checked. I didn't kind of mention that, but I do appreciate the concern and the advice, guys. That really helps keep us going, especially when we get in a rut. You guys keep us going, so it's really, really cool that we got your support. So thank you so much for that. Let's get back to one of the big reasons of why we are building this car. It's not just to race neighbor. It's not just to have a cop car showdown and Ford versus Chevy and all that. One of the big things of what we really want to do is we want to be able to take veterans out for rides and really be able to give them the ride of their life, okay? We want to be able to give back to those that serve and are protecting us. So thank you guys for doing that. We're wanted to nominate a number of veterans, so check out the link below that we have, and you guys can nominate some guys that, or ladies, you can nominate somebody that is a deserving veteran that has really given, and we're going to try and take them out for a ride kind of before we really get this whole thing totally off the ground. So do check that out, send us an email with that. We have an event coming up sometime very soon that we've just started planning. And if you're in the Florida area or know somebody in the Florida area, or you want to submit something yourself, let us know, and we will try and make something happen to where we can take you guys out for a ride in Sam. Do check out some of our merchandise and some of our previous videos on this build and some of our other build. Check out the Porcopotamus. That thing, we got some stuff coming up very, very soon for that. This also, the next episode with Sam is going to be coming at you very, very shortly. Now, we made about 10 pounds of boost. Now, what do you guys think Sam's going to make with about 12.5 pounds of boost? Stay tuned, you guys will have to find out, but it's coming up very soon. See ya. God bless you guys. Oh, coming in hot.